isn't part of what we love about football, the fact that you've had to fight to get there. That's what made Leicester's title win so good. Money, 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 must be funny in a rich man's world. Alright, ladies and gents, welcome back to the Redgate-Large channel. Today we are going to be discussing that word money, that is so at the centrepiece of society at the moment, and football at the moment. We'll be discussing money, how Newcastle United, Man City and Chelsea's takeovers have changed the way we look at football, and what changes could we see in the near future to prevent teams from spending too much money. If you are new to this channel, be sure to smash that like button, hit subscribe, all of that good stuff, and without further ado, let's jump into this video. So, as we know, Newcastle United are getting a takeover, and there's been a lot of praise for Newcastle United, and it's a good time to be a Newcastle United fan in the sense that they are finally getting rid of Mike Ashley. I spoke about this a little bit in one of my previous videos discussing the Newcastle United takeover. However, and this is a bit of a negative tone looking at the takeover, and as a football fan it could be easy for you to say that, you know, this is me being negative, trying to ruin the thunder, whatever it is, or just jealousy. And even as a Chelsea fan, you want to have the most money in the league, you do, but I think it could spell problems for football generally. Part of the big debate around the Super League was the fact that the Super League created this league of elites that stopped other teams from progressing forward, and by giving money to a team such as Newcastle United, who are further down the league table, it does create this idea that teams without money cannot progress up the league, and it shouldn't be like that. It shouldn't. We'll end up with a sort of a top half of the table, and then we'll end up with the rest. That shouldn't be how it is. And of course, we always get upsets. We always get Leicester's beating Manchester United. You get Liverpool's being beaten by Aston Villa's 7-2. It's just not quite the same. And some of the regulations, I think, will come in to prevent this in the future. Unfortunately for Newcastle, I do think this might well be the final straw in terms of takeovers. Number one, money is just going to become useless in football because it's just going to be chucked about. But I do think the Premier League are going to implement a few things, and as a Newcastle United fan, I'm sure it's very exciting, but isn't part of what we love about football the fact that you've had to fight to get there. That's what made Leicester's title win so good. That's even what made Liverpool's title win so good. That gradual progression, that building up. If you can just buy the players, even as a Chelsea fan, like, you can just buy the players, and it doesn't mean success, but it means you've got that extra pressure, and that sometimes can affect players. We've seen it with the likes of Timo Werner, Kai Havertz, these big money signings who just haven't done very well. And I think Newcastle, what they love about their club and what makes their club so fantastic is that spirit and that team spirit. And the fact is, they get behind their team no matter what, or they get behind the players, maybe not the manager, but they get behind the players no matter what. And I think having this money takes it away from that. And it feels so much sweeter when you beat your rivals because of a fantastic tactical performance, rather than the fact you've just brought in Kylian Mbappe and chucked him in your team, because that isn't Newcastle United. They know that. That's not Newcastle United. And to some degree, that's not Chelsea. It is Man City. That is what Manchester City are. They are a team that just buy and buy and buy. They spend 50 million on a fullback who doesn't work out, and then they just discard him like he's nothing. We've seen Chelsea do it as well, but that is not what Newcastle United are. That's not what they stand for. I do think we're going to see wage caps. I think we will see wage caps, because the amount of money that could be chucked about by Abramovich, the City owners, and now the new Newcastle owners could be incredible. It could really suffocate teams such as Burnley. It could suffocate teams such as Norwich. These teams that come up and look to do well, or are stable teams in the league, and because they can't compete financially, and it could have a real bad knock-on effect. And we could see, like I said a little bit earlier on, we could see this sort of split between a top half and a bottom half of the table. I know I'm being hypocritical as a Chelsea fan, and I appreciate that. We're all hypocrites though, aren't we? We are all hypocrites. Chelsea have done the same thing. They've brought in players. Take Alvaro Morata. They brought in Morata. He had a good first half of a season. Then he had a bit of a wobble. Second season we were like, the curse of the number 9 shirt. He's got his number 29. Did awful. Then went out to Juventus, and we'd spent 70 million on that man. What I'm trying to say is, it is hypocritical. Yes, I absolutely agree. But I also think something needs to change to save football, because I think football is getting too close to money. and too involved in money. Yes, money always has a place in football, always has a place in football, and the fight to be the best will, unfortunately, for the most part, always be dictated by money. Players want to earn the most, because at the end of the day, it is just a job. We've seen the Chinese FA, or whatever they want to call themselves, we've seen them implement these rules because they were just getting imports and it wasn't good for their football. They were bringing in the likes of Oscar, Hulk, Carlos Tevez, players like these, and chucking massive wages at them, and that wasn't good for Chinese football. They've now capped it to 3 foreign players per team. Of course, I don't expect us to implement something like that. That's completely different. China are trying to grow their football industry. In many ways, I think we need to look at the Chinese and how they have almost tried to regain their football. Yes, they can chuck lots of money about now, but there is a wage cap. Players aren't allowed to earn over a certain amount, and it does seem harsh, because at the end of the day, it is just a job. Wage caps do happen in other professions. You know, you don't walk into a parliament and get paid 89 million just for being there, and that's what some footballers get. They get these signing bonuses, which are pretty ridiculous. Of course, there are ways to get people to, if they are top professionals, get them to your club, and that is absolutely fine. But there does need to be some form of way to stop football just being dictated by money, because that's not what football is about. Football is about heart, it's about grit, it's about determination, it's about all of those things. Whilst this might look like an attack on Newcastle, it's not. Newcastle are just the latest in a long line of teams to have been taken over and have that injection. We've seen it with PSG as well, haven't we? And I do hope the FA look at this and go, we need to step in here. We're leaving teams behind, because they will leave teams behind. It will become pointless. We won't see the likes of West Ham and Everton pushing for European spots, because the top 4 will be that much richer. They can just bring in Lionel Messi, Erling Haaland, Cristiano Ronaldo, and then you sat there questioning absolutely everything and why you can't get up the table. Well, I hope you have enjoyed that video. I know that's a little bit different, a little bit of a ramble, a little bit of a rant, and I'm sure there'll be Newcastle fans, City fans and Chelsea fans moaning at me here, but I am in the same boat as you guys. I am in the same boat, and I know it comes across hypocritical, but we're all hypocrites at the end of the day. I'm allowed to change my opinion. I am allowed to change my opinion, and I do think now football is starting to get away from the fans. And whilst I completely understand that Newcastle fans are just happy to be not under Mike Ashley's ownership anymore, I do think we have to be very, very careful letting these big companies, whatever they may be, in charge of our teams, because it could spell disaster and us fans could really be in a poor position if it were to continue. Thank you for watching then, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. If you haven't already, smash that like button, hit subscribe, all of that good stuff, and I will see you on the next video. Cheers!